Hey guys, welcome to our review of Roadhouse, a movie on Amazon Prime that came out about a week and a half ago. Basically on the day that I was leaving to go to Adepticon. We got back. Joe went on vacation, so we're just catching up now and putting our... I wanted to cover it. And so this is the... I heard that this is the most watched. What was it, Alex?
Well, the original's a classic, so why not?
Yeah, the most watched original Amazon movie. So
That's crazy. And I also heard that the director was kind of doing a bit of a protest because he wanted it in theaters, but ultimately they told him, well, this was always going to be an Amazon Prime thing. Well, at least it was very successful for Amazon Prime. And this is obviously based on the 1989 classic Roadhouse, which,
89.
man, I cannot remember much of anything. I think I've seen it, but it was, I'm going to bring a perspective of not remembering the original, because I
watched it recently.
I've seen little bits and pieces, especially comparison videos of this and the original Roadhouse. The villain was crazy, and what are y'all doing with the ripping throats out? That's right, the ripping throats out.
Classic scene.
And
Roadhouse.
so of course this is the movie that Joe has seen and remembers vividly.
Who
as opposed
doesn't?
to so much content that Joe hasn't seen. But anyways, so you guys, have you seen Roadhouse?
Yes.
And then Alex said he just saw it recently.
Oh, I watched it 100 times.
Okay, so you guys, why don't you guys go first and tell me what y'all thought of Roadhouse?
This one was actually, I enjoyed this one. It's not really like, it has its own different plot.
Joe watched
generic.
this twice because, of course, Joe's at home and he watches movies.
Well,
and so in the week and a half
so.
that we didn't review this, you watched it in between.
Yeah, I actually did enjoy the plot. It was like paper thin, but it's an 80s thing. It's a nostalgia thing. Like, we're taking over this mountain. We're going to build resorts on it.
The evil ski team,
like, but we got to win the championship to win it back. And that stuff. But
Did you like it better or worse the second time around?
I enjoyed it for what it was. The acting was so fucking bad by Conor McGregor that it fucking looped around to be good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this
his
is
big goofy
terrible.
smile and his chewing the scenery was the right move, because I don't think the man has acting chops.
No.
And so to go,
it is so bad. It's
so
good.
to go over the top with it was the right move,
Yes.
because it comes right back around.
Yeah, so that has its charm. It was an enjoyable watch. Still like the classic. You can't beat the classics, but it was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a movie not of consequence, right? It's a throwaway action flick that's an homage to a late 80s movie, and it kind of follows the same sort of thing. I don't think this one is anywhere near as good. I think the first one like really nailed down like the overall morality, and like setting up the world a little bit better, like making letting you know like, wait, why are the cops showing up? And this one it took a really long time to get there, but it's still fun. Conor McGregor playing Conor McGregor is weird. It's fucking weird because he's like trying to play himself. It's like, dude, you're already a roided out, coked up fiend.
Yes.
Like, just be yourself, and this would have been a little bit better. But by the end, he's such a cartoon character that you're like, all right, this is kind of ridiculous, and I'm in for it.
I wouldn't have wanted him played any other way.
That's why I like Popeye.
Yeah, like I think
his walk. Remember, this is his second film. The other film was the oh no, I'm drawing a blank. I made a Conor McGregor joke in the
King Kong?
King Kong, that's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Scar, King Scar.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think it's good. I think he could have toned it down a little bit, and like one or two really hand-up scenes would have been amazing. But I think that this is a solid, like for streaming.
Yes,
For a streaming watch, like
this
this is
is
pretty
perfect.
good. Like this is like Extraction level thing where like if I went out and saw Extraction in the movie theaters, like it's pretty good, and this would be kind of the same thing. But on Amazon, this is kind of a gem for a streaming only release.
Yeah, I think we are all in agreement. You should go out and watch this movie if you want to see some, drag out, kick out, punching and kicking, and some fights filmed creatively. They definitely had to use a little bit of CGI to
was a bit
obtain
choppy,
some
certain
of these fight sequences. They do some interesting things with the camera. That this camera's invisible, kind of spins around and zooms in, zooms out, and so there is some definitely some CGI in the fight sequences. But ultimately, it doesn't ruin it because I still feel all the impact. I still feel all the brutality, the punches. They hit well, and it kind of gives you the payoff that you want. I like how the film is very self-aware. In fact, he meets a young girl at the beginning of the movie that kind of gives the movie a little bit of its heart. Wish they would have leaned into it a little more. This Charlie character who basically notices that this is kind of like a Western movie, and they have that through line throughout the whole film, and I like that. I like the homages, I like the throwbacks, and the film knew what it was, and it really played within that that area. It's interesting because we got a lot of satisfying fights and some boats and some fucking explosions that I don't think the original had. But you guys are right in the sense that it seems like it lacks some of the weight of the original. Whereas that one, the characters are more fleshed out. There's, I don't know, some gravity behind it. The slower moments, I guess because of the acting of Patrick Swayze and some of the supporting cast in the original 1989, just held it up more. Here, they almost brush over a lot of Dalton's backstory. You think that maybe we're going to get more. It is ultimately revealed what happened in his past, but it's never dealt with. It's never resolved. In fact, it kind of, gets kind of almost forgotten. And towards the end, there is an after credits sequence that I'm wondering, the way this is filmed and the way the story ends, are they expecting to get a sequel? And if it is the best Amazon viewed thing in a long time, maybe we are going to get a sequel.
I hope not.
With Conor McGregor. You wouldn't want to see a Roadhouse 2
No, it's
from
fine.
Amazon.
This was fine. It's like maybe
Because we never saw a sequel to the original, right?
No. Well, for me also, I feel like the original had more heart and you cared about the Roadhouse. This one, you don't really care about the Roadhouse.
You don't care about
and
the
the
Roadhouse.
stakes, they have to make the stakes bigger, so it's more problems, more shit going on.
Yeah, so they tried to do that, but I don't think they did. In the first one, Dalton goes to a hardware store, and then he sees the hardware store and are getting shook down. And these people are on the borderline of poverty because the big rich guy is stealing everything from this town, and it's established early that the cop's in his pocket, and this town has nothing that they can do because it's isolated.
That's what Joe was saying. Even though they tried to make it bigger, it doesn't have the heart of the original.
Yeah, it doesn't have any of the stakes. It's and then at the end, the townsfolk kind of rally behind, and it kind of explains how Dalton gets out. They're like, I didn't see any massive murders, and it's just what do you mean? And so it's the town rallies together to cover up crimes.
Yes, because there are that in the original spoiler, there are some deaths, and there are deaths in this one as well. But the explanation is a little weaker. We could talk about that in the spoiler section. But ultimately, I think it's hard not to like the Dalton character here.
Oh, yeah.
He's even described as a Mr. Rogers type at some point in the film, but I think Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job there, and I do like the fact that he has this nice guy attitude, but this real darkness under there, and a rage and an anger, and when he gets angry, he gets unleashed. So I'm AngryJoe. Maybe it appeals to me a little bit. I did see little sparkles and speckles of Donnie Darko there, especially when the guy's taunting him and he starts to smile, and I'm like, oh shit, there's the Donnie Darko coming out. And so I really enjoyed it. I thought there was moments that made me laugh. There was some good action scenes, and this is exactly what I wanted from the film. And the boys are right. It's the story is there, but it's ultimately just an excuse to get people punching and murderous sequences.
Yeah.
I do think that Conor McGregor, although retired and now probably, I don't know, he's on a losing streak at this point.
Yeah, he might go back to boxing.
I don't think he's
know.
going to go back to fighting, Joe. I mean,
You don't
maybe
think
he
so?
thinks he's a movie star. He's like, when are we
Maybe-
going to do Roadhouse 2? He's on the phone with Amazon.
Maybe Jake wants to fight him again.
Well, I'm thinking if they
all
ever
these
do a
stupid
Roadhouse
fights.
2, that it would probably be maybe like a team up, like they'll work together or something.
don't- like,
But
this
I
is
know
fine. I
it
don't
sounds
want
bad
it.
already. I just don't think a Roadhouse 2 is going to work, just like the original classic. Now, and then ultimately, while this one is not as good as the original, and we do recommend you go and see the original, which I need to go back and watch it so I can remember. In fact, They didn't even have the Sam character at the beginning.
yeah.
The mustache
Sam
badass.
Elliott.
Yeah, Sam Elliott.
That-
character. I
that-
liked that guy.
It provides a lot of depth because like Dalton immediately realizes he's not a superhero in a stupid 80s movie, and he's like, I need some help.
Yes.
And Jake Gyllenhaal, again, this is goofy, but there's parts of this movie where it's like, dude, you're not invulnerable. What the hell is this?
He is walking around as if he's invulnerable.
Yeah,
You have
he's
a
like,
little bit of that superhero thing here.
you're a bouncer now. You're a bouncer now. It's like, okay.
It is
whatever.
explained that he has essentially a death wish, and that's kind of why he feels like he cannot be beaten. But yeah, the lack of that type of character in this, I think, hurts this one a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the writing team may not have been able to pull it off anyway. There was only one or two moments in the script that I was like, hey, that's actually well done. And we'll talk more about it in spoilers. But let's make this review a short one. We recommend you go out and see Roadhouse on Amazon Prime if you
Stay
haven't
home and see
already.
it.
If you do enjoy this one, make sure to watch the original. Compare the two. Leave it in the comments. And if you've already seen it, tell us what you think of Roadhouse. Let's go to final verdicts.
I'm going to give this a 6. It was a good watch. I enjoyed it. Great popcorn flick. Stay at home. Check it out. I like the characters. Dalton had some nice humor. Mo, hilarious, even though he tries to be a mean guy.
I like Mo character. Yeah, he's a lackey in the bad guys.
Hey guys, what's
but
going on?
he's so nice, and I love Mo too.
Yeah. There's some kind of awkward moments, but overall, it's still pretty good. Conor McGregor did a great job. That's why I gave it another point. I was like, all right. You're so stupid. Your caricature.
You're so stupid.
It's great. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
So what's funny is like I like Conor McGregor less than both of you, but I like it more than the movie a little bit better. For what it is, I'm giving this one a 7. I think this is a good streaming watch. It falls apart at the end. It's dumb. It doesn't make any sense. But you're so like on the hook
You're like,
already
alright.
for like a dumb action movie that it's fine. They really nail the comedic moments here. It's not just
Yes.
Mo. There's a couple lackeys that are just genuinely funny, and it kind of lightens. I don't like to bring up this movie Skyscraper, which completely missed the fucking point. They're trying to take an 80s action movie and redo it, but they took themselves really seriously. This didn't take itself serious fucking ever. The only person who was taking himself seriously may have been Conor McGregor trying to play Conor McGregor. But yeah, I think this is definitely worth seeing.
Yes, the fact that it's essentially free if you got Amazon Prime helps. I don't have to pay $45 with y'all to go to the movies. It's a good VOD watch, so maybe it was a good thing that this one didn't go to theaters. I'm not sure how well it would have done in theaters, despite the director's insistence. Great watch. I was between a 6 and a 7. I was like, do I really want to rate it better than Godzilla Across Kong? But then I realized, hey, that's not how our ratings work. You don't compare our ratings.
It's a different movie.
1 to 1.
It's a
Exactly.
Godzilla
Different
movie.
genre.
How do you compare
this to Schindler's List?
But
Yeah.
that's what everybody does in the comments.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, I'm unshackled from that. I am also going to give it a 7 out of 10. I laughed enough. I was entertained enough. In fact, if you have no context of the original Roadhouse and you watch this and you're looking for a good time, you have a few beers, I think you might even like it more than a 7 out of 10. Yeah. But once you do enjoy this, go and watch the original. Because that's what I think Joe might be a little harsher on it with the 6 because of the original. Right, Joe? See, if you
There's
didn't
no
have
ending
if
scene
this
like
was
that.
the only
Wasn't it-
Roadhouse that existed, you might be a little bit kinder. But hey, it's unavoidable that you compare it to the classic.
Inspired by, you named it the same thing, you're
Yeah.
going to get comparison.
Yeah,
gonna get-
exactly. Because like it's the very iconic scene at the very end of that that one. This one is iconic because of Connor, the standout.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to tell you this is a great film with great performances, and some of the performances that were not good are so not good that they turn around and become great again.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's it. We'll jump into spoilers section and discuss some of the ridiculousness that happened. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So, spoilers for Roadhouse. People die. People get punched.
There's a
people
couple
get
things.
kicked.
There's some things they really fucked up. No one got their throat ripped out.
Yes!
I needed that.
Oh,
Yes!
that's absolutely right.
Instant point.
Everybody knows.
Because you were saying it better happen, I was like, oh, he's going to be disappointed.
And there
Yeah.
was, I should have said this in the review. There was no, like memorable. While Connor is so bad, he's good. He doesn't have any lines that are memorable. Like I used to
fuck guys like you in prison, and you're watching the movie for
and
the
you're
first
like,
time,
holy
and
shit,
you're like,
I believe this guy.
what did that guy just say? I'm like, I was like 5 or 6 watching this movie. I should have been watching. It's like
muscles and sweaty and machismo. He used to fuck guys like you in prison. Like, oh, okay. That probably did scare Patrick Swayze at the time.
it was very
and
odd.
I ripped people's throats out. So there was none of that.
There also wasn't the really big emotional moment that we got in the first. So spoilers for a 30-year-old movie.
Yep.
If you haven't watched the first one, cover your ears. So in the original, Dalton is in trouble. He knows he's in trouble, and he needs more help because the town is fucked. So he calls in the guy who trained him, right?
Yep.
The older, wiser dude. And the bad guys kill him. They beat the shit out of him, and they beat him to death, and it really,
So had more heart.
That emotional gravity. Fuck, y'all should have said that in the review.
I didn't
Well,
want
you
to.
don't wanna
I don't want to.
spoil
I
it.
don't want
This
to
is
spoil.
spoilers
Yeah,
now.
and so it's like it's a big deal. So it's like there was a great
Yeah.
opportunity, and I thought they were going to do it, but the cowards didn't. I thought they were going to kill the bookstore owner or something.
Yeah.
The father of the bookstore owner could have worked. It wouldn't have been good as the original, but still,
It would have been something. And then they really missed the opportunity to flesh out that little. Like, look, we only got a tiny little strip mall. Flesh out the liquor store owner. Flesh out the diner that was next door, and flesh out the things, and let us know how bad the town is and how afraid everyone is, knowing they can't do anything about it. Because that's world building that makes a movie beyond streaming memorable, and why the other one's kind of a cult
It
classic.
was interesting. They were unafraid to show the hero of the film kill somebody in a brutal way. Also, just straight up knives going into abdomens and fucking wood shards. But yet they were very shy to show anything having to do with hurting the good town folk. Charlie, her father. In fact, they cut away completely. We never see what happens to
happened on
them.
screen.
And because you have that lack of, oh my God, there's no real
connection there with the
we
town.
know that fucking Dalton's mad. We know that Jake Gyllenhaal's version of Dalton is mad because he's literally about to leave the town. They hire this guy, obviously, kicks everyone's ass, and then but when they fuck with the nice girl at the beginning of the film, Charlie, this really triggers Dalton, and he's like,
kills people.
Fuck this.
And not self-defense kill people.
No.
Because a
I'm
lot of the
going-
times in the original
I
one,
just collapsed your fucking tree.
I'm going to watch you die. It's like,
And
whoa.
Not only is the guy already choking on air, he kicks him in a pool, so now he's choking on air and drowning. that's
Then we get a great scene with
that's
Mo.
a double whammy.
I was like, oh shit.
Hey,
oh,
buddy.
hey man.
How's it
It's
going?
pretty heavy. Good for you.
Luckily, Mo has been cheery and friendly to him the whole time. I love the Mo character. One of the better parts of this one that wasn't really in the original.
No.
But yeah, so the film opens with punches, and it's good. We get a Post Malone cameo, though I'm not really sure. I believe Post Malone is able to take on all comers. I think he's a great dude. One of the nicest guys ever. Takes time with his fans.
Magic player.
He's a magic player. He's one of us, and so I'm happy he
He's
got the
delusional
role.
too. He's
But
a Cowboys fan.
he is a Cowboys fan like
You
us.
think you would he's old enough? You
Damn,
grow out
man.
of stuff like that. You
Post
stop
Malone
believing in
needs to come
Santa.
out.
You stop believing in the
You
Easter
need
Bunny.
to come and hang out with us
I know.
and sharing our misery. But anyways, the one thing this film also has that like everybody combed over is like the rules here. It's like there's at least this underground fight was dumb. He's like, I'm gonna take on all comers. Like, but you don't get a break and you're just gonna fight over and no, eventually you're gonna run out of steam.
2 minutes.
And it almost felt unfair for Dalton to show up and beat his ass.
It was silly. I wanted like the gummy bears thing. Gummy bears.
Oh, that's from Hot
Shots, yeah.
Part 2. All right, so it opens well enough, and the guy Post Malone was like, no, once he realizes who it is, and this is because of the subplot throughout the whole film where Dalton was a huge MMA star in this. That was not in the original, and apparently he was also friendly, maybe friends with the guy he was fighting, and beat his ass and somehow snapped and just kept on hitting his head after he had already won. And one of those punches ended up fucking killing the guy.
Yeah.
And so he's barred from the sport. He's ostracized, and he's
He
kind
never
of a
wants to be
drifter now.
that place ever again.
Yeah, and I wish we would have got more here. I wanted to know, did the guy have a relationship with his wife, or did he have a, what happened? What did he get pissed off for?
He got punched in the face.
Pissed off because he was losing the fight, but it's his friend, and
who was unconscious on the ground.
So calm in the fights, but I guess that's the point. Yes. When you piss off Dalton, he has an anger where he cannot be controlled, and he goes too far. But I wanted to dive into that, and maybe if there's ever a sequel, which I don't think there is, I don't think there should be, that could be an area that they would dive into. And he had stabbed right at the beginning of the movie. I'm like, Dalton, why did you let this guy stab you? You're such a badass, and he just let the guy walk up to him. He's showing you he's about
he's like, wait, you don't want to take your knife?
All right, that's a story thing, right? Plus, he also has a death wish at that time, because even after he takes the money, after he wins, because Post Malone's like, I'm not even fighting him because I don't want to die, and so he gets the win by default. He actually parks his car in the fucking railroad tracks to kill himself. Decides not to go through with it, but ruins his car, and that forces him to go on to the Florida Keys Roadhouse, which is a different location from the original, and since he's broke. Oh, because the lady dropped by. The owner of the Roadhouse, Frankie, said, hey, I'm having problems. Can you be my bouncer?
I'm looking for a tough bouncer, Carter.
And then let's see. So that's when once he gets there, it's beautiful. I really like this location. I think it's bright. It's
good to visit. But you don't want to live. You don't want to live in Florida.
You don't want to live there, but good food and good beaches and all sorts of stuff.
Gators,
but probably
snakes,
a lot of
Florida man.
And Florida man. So we see Fred the tree as we drive by on the bridge. I wasn't aware of this. I don't live there, but that's kind of a cool little story. And this kid's like, I wrote a book about it, So he has this moment with Charlie after he gets off the bus that really gives the film a little bit of the heart. Really the only heart that this film has.
Barely any, though. But they should have done more with it.
But they should have done more with it. Instead, we get our first fight of the film is Del and Mo and all of his lackeys that's just being dicks in the fucking bar.
Well, that's what they're paid to do.
Yeah, they're trying to trash the bar on purpose.
Yeah, it's just scare off the owner, scare off people. Because ultimately, what is this about, Joe? Why are these people fucking with the Roadhouse?
The rich kid wants to build a resort.
There it goes.
That's the main plot for every 80s movie.
And it's because his dad, he's trying to live up to his dad, who also built half the keys or whatever, but he's in jail for reasons we don't know. He's just probably some drugs and some shady shit.
It's like you can still build the resorts around.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That way they have somewhere to go.
To go to the bar. But he wants it to be his bar.
He could have just been like, all right, well, let's go 50-50 on this one. And
yes,
I'll build resorts
that's what they should have done. So anyway, Dalton gets a great fight scene here where he kicks everybody's ass very easily. It's fun because this Del is played so well as a fucking dick, and you just want to see him get beat up. And you see him get his ass kicked. So they go to the hospital. We form our first romantic thing. What was the romance in the original Roadhouse? I don't remember.
The doctor.
Yeah, there's a doctor in town.
So it is the same thing where the doctor here in the hospital, a local hospital, she's kind of upset with him. She's, because
She thinks he's one of the violent people in town.
Yeah.
She doesn't know him yet.
But know that he is truly a good guy.
So
or
thanks
whatever,
for bringing
somewhere.
these assholes in here so they could take the beds. But we really need.
You're a total dickhead, basically.
Yeah,
is what she thinks.
we need
but
this bed for the
there's
real
some
people.
there's some aspect to him that we know that Dalton, he's nice to these guys. Even after he kicks their ass, he puts them in the car and he drives them to the hospital. He's like bump incoming, and so that. I love these little, what do you call it? A subversion of expectations. You don't normally see these kinds of scenes in movies, and I liked it. It gave the film a little bit of character, and I don't really remember that from the original. So that was something
See,
that this
for me,
did
it was an off and on thing. Because,
Yep.
if it was, some other random people, sure. But, it was Dell and all them. Dell came back and tried to run him over, and then with a shotgun.
Wait a minute. I'm just talking from the beginning.
Okay.
So obviously he doesn't know Dell yet. He doesn't know that Dell's like a deep down piece of shit that will not stop. So I like that aspect. You're saying why does he continue to be nice to Dell or not go hard on Dell once he comes back? That does make sense, and I'd agree with you there. But maybe some people are so stupid you want to give them multiple chances. I don't know. So anyways, after this, the local area is fucking nice to him, and then we meet our rich kid who's shaving at sea. Have to make a point about how big of a dick he is.
This is a super stupid scene, and I don't know whose idea it was, but you were on a roll with some stuff, and I was almost
showing you that he's such a dick that he's gonna blame the captain.
Idiot, though. It's just it's not very threatening.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, the problem is when the bad guy, if he's conniving and evil, great. Have him kick a puppy or something in the movie, right? So you set up how evil he is. Having using a straight razor in the middle of a bumpy ocean is oh, this guy's really, really stupid.
Yeah, he's fucking stupid. I actually think that you just made all the points for why it's effective. He's fucking stupid. He's ignorant. He blames others. He can't. He doesn't understand. And so I think it's perfect scene for this. He's ineffective, ineffectual. He never fights in this film. I think he does try to throw one punch, but it misses.
I agree that that's exactly what they're going for. It just didn't work for me. It's this is just it's to a level of even lower than cartoon level stuff. It's I don't need this.
I also question why the fuck did the captain said it's going to be clear. The captain should have been no. Okay, I've driven boats before. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
That's a really sharp razor.
Captain's fault, not the rich kid. Anyway, so moving on. They did all the moments in between the fight where they try to build a little bit of character. I started to get a little bored. His date with the doctor, I
forgot her name.
I like the visuals where they drive out in the middle of an ocean and there's actually a small rock platform there. That is so romantic. That's where you would propose or do something cool with your girl. But
get eaten by a shark.
Ellie. And I did like the conch talk, though, previously. Conch, and she's correcting him. It was charming. It was well-written dialogue. It doesn't ever reach those levels again, but because they make this thing where it's that those have pearls, and she's like, yeah, I know that. And then, but there's 1 in 10,000 which will have a pink pearl, and it's irritating, and he's kind of drawing a parallel that he irritates her, but good things can come from that. So I was like, man, that guy's got game on his line. This is before they go out on the date at a bar. And the movie has several musical bits. They bring some bands. I think these are all probably cover bands of things because I didn't really recognize
some
any
of
of
them
them.
cover songs. Yeah.
I don't understand why these bands keep fucking playing. Is that real over there in New Orleans and these rowdy places like Florida that the bands are paid to play, and if you don't fucking play, doesn't matter if everybody's kicking each other's ass.
Why there's chicken wire up, man.
This exactly.
I
thought that was funny that they kept playing even when fucking Conor McGregor's trying to get at him, which really poorly acted that particular scene. Hey, the band! It's what are you doing? Yeah. So, long story short, let's wrap it up. I will say there was a really fakey sequence. The CGI truck when he tried to run him over.
Oh, because I thought you were going to say about the fight, because there's one when he first fights Conor McGregor. He pushes him and goes forward, but it's the CGI gets real choppy. You see, frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sped up punches in
it's
there.
kinda
I must have missed that particular one. I did know it looked a little awkward at times in the CG in the fight, and I think that's because they were trying to achieve this camera in the mix kind of thing. But what I really did notice was that fucking truck that had no weight to it. Dell at one point tries to run him over twice, and he's like talking to his girl the whole time as he's trying to do it. It was really fakey.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree?
Yeah, I agree 100% on that. And it's just like the problem is the Dell has this line where he's like, I wanted to make it look like a drunk driving thing, but in like the very next scene they introduce that half the cops, including the sheriff, are so crooked that they're going to kill him in prison. Yeah. And so it's like, I didn't want to kill you. And it's like, but then you establish very next that at any point they could kill him and nothing would ever happen. And so it's like...
He meets him back at his boathouse. Dell pulls a shotgun on him, and I'm like, oh, just kill this fucking guy already. But he throws him overboard, and a gator ends up killing Dell.
It's like, how many times I need to teach you, old man?
And
I like the gator.
I thought the gator was going to factor in another time because he does appear like maybe he's going to kill somebody else. And I'm like, all he needs to do is take it to the gator again. But
they don't need to eat that often.
Apparently, they hide bodies too because they hide their food. When they're done eating, they take maybe the torsos left.
I like that line too. Like, do all you guys learn that in kindergarten?
Yeah. Yes. So, like I said, it loses a little bit of momentum in the middle where they're doing the date scene and then Connor kind of showing up on the thing. But that's when they inject some life back into it because Connor just slams onto the screen. He's just driving fucking Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
In fact, how do they introduce him?
He's banging some dude's wife.
He's banging some dude's wife in Italy or something. Mm-hmm. And so
he's
the
butt
father
naked, walking
calls
around.
him. Oh, how could I forget? So we ain't getting no damn nudity.
What are you doing? Clothes shopping.
Did the original Roadhouse have some female nudity?
Yeah.
I would remember.
It's the 80s.
So I think so.
It did, yeah.
And we
the
get
doctor
no
lady
damn
gets naked.
What the fuck? All right, I'm going back to 6. I'm going back to 6 out of 10, changing my rating.
Well, I saw it twice.
Here's the thing: is that that's why you went from 7 to 6. Here's the thing: is that if you're gonna do a movie like this and pay homage, that's one thing you didn't pay homage to. And no, Connor's ass doesn't count. Yeah. So
there was booby. You saw the lady's boobs. I saw them. The woman he was having sex with. She was topless up there on the balcony.
She's kind of
so you were ignoring the boobies. They were there.
They were too far in the background. So he confronts the rich kid confronts him about killing his friend. That was a good scene. Like this scene, get that Donnie Darko smile and really, honestly, triggers him quite heavily because that's when fucking Connor comes and just starts to make trouble in the Roadhouse. Dalton doesn't do anything. He could have stopped it a lot sooner, and he should have stopped it a lot sooner before it got out of control.
Then he comes in with his puns. His puns were fucking terrible, but I approve of them.
Which pun?
He walks in with his golf club. I haven't been clubbing in a while.
Golf clubs break really easily.
He's like, I'm having a smashing good time.
You like this?
Like, this is stupid. Okay, I'll allow it.
Talk about stupidity. A bar fight breaks out like in the old days in old movies and westerns where everybody just randomly starts
like
punching
bar fight and turns around
and
punches
a random guy. Like, this doesn't happen in this nice world that you've set up in the modern times, but we will allow it because we are, we're doing over the top puns. We're doing fight scenes. A bar fight in the original Roadhouse breaking out makes more sense than it does here, but it happens here and we'll allow it. So I just don't understand. I guess, because there's crooked cops. Because why didn't the cops show up sooner to all of these things? They do make a point that there's crooked cops. The sheriff turns out to be, this is like one of the contrivances that I rolled my eyes at. Dalton is about to get fucking murked by the police. He gets picked up. The rich kid's like, I got one more thing to do. And he gets the cops on him, the corrupt cops. And Dalton's taunting the cops, and they're just like, nah, take this guy out of the car. And they're about to shoot him or whatever and just say they lost his paperwork. But his girlfriend shows up. Turns out his girlfriend is the daughter of the corrupt cop. I was like, oh, sheriff.
The backstory.
There you go.
See, everyone's just being dicks just to be dicks. Like, show me, like Alex was saying in the original one, the town is in trouble and everything like that. Everyone's just here like, oh, we're just mean. I was like, okay.
Yeah, but the bad guys in the original, they were just dicks, right?
But they were like harassing the town folks too.
Right.
Yeah, they were.
Why were they harassing the town folks?
They were shaking them down, and they wanted to, they wanted the land, and some of it was the bad guy wanted to get with the doctor lady, and there was all sorts of stuff that they fleshed out.
Yeah, a lot more. It has a lot more gravity to it. And when you punch somebody in the face, when you know their backstory and the other guy's backstory, it feels better.
Oh, you laugh when that little guy punched Dalton.
Dude, I laughed so hard. So eventually, okay, so the girlfriend shows up to save him, and so that was kind of like the last thing. Oh, we skipped. Hold on. Oh, we skipped another part where they light the bookstore on fire.
Oh,
and
that's
apparently beat up Charlie.
That's later on. Right now, you're still with the cops.
Really?
Yeah, you're right now with the cops because the bookstore is when he's actually leaving.
No. So Dalton snaps.
Yeah.
The part that I laughed really hard at is after Dalton already snapped.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but we have to set up the snap first, Joe, which is the girl's bookstore gets torched. She actually gets beat up off screen. Her father gets beat up off screen, apparently. We don't see none of it. This is where you probably could have had a little bit more of an emotional impact if you'd shown it, but I understand why you wouldn't want to because they're going for a different, I guess, crowd-pleasing kind of thing where they don't show it. So it snaps. Dalton's fixing to leave after this, after the fight with what's his name? Knox. And the bus leaves when he realizes, oh shit, the little girl who I'm friends with is in the hospital. Her bookstore is burned down. He walks to this the rich guy's abandoned house since he's in prison, where all the guys are shacked up having fun. And I like how it's all decrepit because nobody's fucking cleaning shit or taking care of stuff. So that's realistic. But he just goes there and fucking kills the guy that was hired to do that. So you could tell he's done, and he has some kind of plan, I assume, because the next thing confused me. There was helicopters flying around and a drug deal going on. Alex, what was that?
So they established that the big bad wants to build this giant resort, but he's out of money, and so he's been trying to do it for so long that he needs to take over the roadhouse, and so he's out of money and he can't develop anything. And the people who are loaning him all the money are like, hey, we need to see some progress or else. And he's been borrowing from shady types. So this is a last payment.
This is a shady type
that is like giving him money, giving this guy money, and so Dalton just steals the money, which is gonna make things.
It's a great scene too. Was that helicopter a police helicopter or a shady type helicopter?
I think it's a shady type helicopter.
Shady type
the police run
helicopter.
boats,
but the police boat was there to pick up the money. That way it's kind of secure. The corrupt police officer can escort the money to the bad guys. But before he can, Dalton shows up, knocks out the police officer. Love this dialogue here. Dalton's such a matter-of-fact kind of guy. I liked him before, and now he's matter-of-fact angry. You're not going to remember any of this. I'm going to hit you, and I've been fighting a long time. The short-term memory loss is real. And so he slams this pole in the back of the guy's head. But it's funny because the very next scene, the corrupt sheriff comes, and you think, oh, he's going to shoot him or something. But the character, no, my daughter's captured. Can I get your help? And he's like, how'd you know? And he's like, well, my deputy told me. He said you were talking about some short-term memory shit. He's like, fuck, shit. That didn't work. I like that because it's in other movies it's like, oh, he's always right and the shit always works and all these plans that he do works. Here it fails, and but it didn't matter because he was lying essentially. The cop, and he's working with the rich dude. So they go out to the rich guy's boat, and this is where when he comes on the boat, I laughed out hilarious because the dude punches one of the lackeys on the boat, punches Dalton's face.
It's okay, I'll just tell him you took it. Oh, yeah. Let's go. Oh, this guy.
And it just does like no damage. Like he had no muscle behind it whatsoever. I was like, and he knew it had done fucked up. And it was such a good sound effect.
Yeah.
So little moments like that I like. But yeah, what his plan here was, he blew up the fucking.
He didn't know where Ellie was on the boat, but
That
he blew
was
up
a
half
kind
the
of a
boat
stupid
anyway.
plan. Yeah. But he blew up a boat to sink the rich kid's boat, hopefully finding Ellie and rescue her before she gets drowned.
double cross.
She almost
Triple
does
cross.
get drowned. Oh, yeah. Before this happens, they do the little triple cross. And they set this up. I don't know why they had to do this, right? Because it doesn't make sense.
Because we need to get Ellie
villain
in
is
the
so
boat.
stupid. Yes, I did capture your dice. What the fuck? And the police officer pulls his gun. If he didn't say none of that, then we wouldn't have a little out later on where the police officer is like, maybe I'm on Dalton's side now because of my daughter. And that's ultimately what happens.
Yeah.
So we get a big old boat fight. We get a boat explosion, punching and kicking, and then a boat chase, and then Conor McGregor's character shows up. Everybody's gone. I guess they don't. And he's like, what the fuck? So then he takes a little raft out there. He doesn't even get there before the thing explodes. And then he has a scene where they play chicken. And it gets wild. And just more. This is like Fast and the Furious type of shit here, right? But I liked it. It was interesting. Camera work is pretty good. And CGI here and there. But eventually, the boat goes crazy. Let's see. The rich kid picks up his girlfriend, and then also when he comes around, plays chicken with it. Dalton just so happens to jump onto the boat as the two boats collide. Of course, the yacht destroys the raft, and he falls harmlessly into the boat. Some more convenience here.
He gets hit a little bit along
You get
the way.
a little bit of hit, but then the boat also is another convenience. Is as they're having a fight scene on the boat, it just so happened to go directly towards the
Well,
roadhouse.
yeah, I don't know his plan because he says, I'm going to go destroy it myself. And then he speeds up. It's like, were you going to ram it or were you going to
Oh
do something
yeah,
else?
maybe
Light it on fire.
does he have a bunch
That's what I
of
was
that's
thinking.
not-
But he
cans
didn't
on
have
his
anything.
fucking
That's
boat?
what I was
Well,
like, what are
it's
you going to do?
bars filled with flammable liquid.
Alcohol.
Okay, so they
Yeah.
did at least mention that he was heading in that direction.
Yes,
'Cause
but
I was
so
like,
he
wait a
said
minute,
that.
why did the boat show up?
He said, I'll
at the
destroy it
boathouse?
myself.
When your building burns down, you still own the land, and so if she just wants to be an asshole and not sell, she's be like, I just got insurance money. I'm gonna build this thing back better. And
He's not very bright. So
Yeah.
then he gets punched. Dalton and the girlfriend jump off the boat before it slams into the roadhouse with the villain on it, and he goes flying. And apparently he doesn't get hurt at all. He lands harmlessly on a roof because that would have
It's a
killed
straw.
the motherfucker.
It's a
Straw roof.
It's
It's
a
very
straw
soft.
roof. It's fine.
Yeah, and then we have the ultimate showdown. Connor shows up.
After swimming miles.
That's right. Yeah, he swam. He got on the bridge, stopped some guy's car, and as we're having this fight scene with the rich kid,
Poor
he's like,
little Mexican guy. He was just going to work.
yeah,
He took his truck.
Knox beat him up and took his truck, slams the truck through the roadhouse, and we have our fight scene between the two MMA fighters. And at one point, Knox gets the upper hand, stabs him, and I'm like, well, he's been stabbed before. I don't
in the same spot.
in the same.
Yeah,
spot.
not even. That's just like
He's
went
like,
to the
oh
band.
yeah, that's happened before. No problem. And Dalton goes about 6 or 7 stabs with fucking wood that can fucking come apart in the wound.
It's
and
still
all
a good
this.
scene, but it's not as iconic as the other one. It's like
It's not as iconic as
throat rip.
fucking rip the throat. There was some kind. Now that I'm kind of remembering, wasn't there some kind of like mystical stuff, or he was talking about like peace and it
He would
just
meditate and stuff.
meditation.
Yeah.
Maybe
He was real
factors
zen.
into
He
his
was real
fighting
zen.
style.
Well, he
a little
wanted like so they established that Dalton in the
This is the
first
original.
one had killed a guy and like was trying to atone for his past sins. This we got no mention of it whatsoever. Like there was a perfect scene that I thought that we got where the bad guy shows up at the bar and he's like, "This is a video of you killing your friend," and I was like, "Oh, cool, we're gonna get the part where he's like, oh, this is how I developed since then." Nope. And
No, he's like, yeah, that's the punch that did it.
yeah,
too.
that's where he died.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then he Donnie
Yep,
Darko
it's like, yep.
smiles.
Yeah,
That-
to cut out
that's-
the boat
right.
duel
That's the
and like give
one.
me the emotional thing. 'cause,
Yeah.
No, I'll keep the bolt duel too. Put them
When
both
they're,
in.
when they're both okay.
yeah, just I keep. It was dumb fun.
With you.
Anyway, stabs him a bunch of times, wins the fight. Then the cop shows up, and because he's friends with his daughter, or he's dating his daughter, he says, "Get out of here." But they don't end in a happily ever after. He doesn't get the girl. He gets on the bus and he leaves.
Rides off into the sunset.
But he does leave all the money that was stolen, that he stole earlier, to Charlie and the other, which might be more trouble than it's worth, because if these rich people are still around and the father finds out, they're going to be fucked.
Yes.
So he just killed them. Anyways, yes, and there's a very final scene where Knox is still alive. He's in the hospital, and he beats up all the doctors for healing him and taking care of him. And then he walks out of the hospital so you can see his taint and his butt cheeks again doing the Connor walk out. Just letting you know he's still alive so we can set up a sequel. No? Sequel, Joe.
No.
Maybe a Dalton Knox team up versus the father.
No.
I
feel like, all right, it's so bad it's good, but then it's gonna.
Yeah.
I can't do more of it.
Can't do more.
Like, this is fine. It's
Right.
fine. Leave it as.
Come on, Amazon. Don't do it. Because it's so over the top. It's like, let it be a self-contained thing, just like the original.
There are a ton of dudes in the UFC who are retired that could play the bad guy, the flavor of the week bad guy. Does not have to be Conor McGregor.
It's fine. Just sprinkle in on this one, but
Yeah,
not
no
down.
mas.
We'll see. Can a big corporation stop themselves if it's their most watched movie ever?
Is it
We
from
shall
him
find
though?
out.
Is it like?
I don't know. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching, and let us know your thoughts on Roadhouse. I know this is late. I kind of want to put it up. Curious anyway how a movie review a week and a half, 2 weeks after does. So thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below, and we will see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.